All right, so it's DJ DUBL here. Today, I'm with an artist that stays real all the time. Sir Robert Bryson Hall II.
Indeed, yes.
It's Logic.
Yes, what's up, man?
Welcome, man, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So let's tackle the name first.
Yes.
In England, if you're Sir, that means you're a knight. That means you're someone special.
Yes.
So where does the title in your name come from?
My mother, I guess she was a bit eccentric.
Right, okay.
So she just, she named me that. But it's cool. When I was young, I kind of hated it because I stood out so much. But then, you know, when you leave high school and you join the real world, it's kind of good to stand out. It's nice. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. I do enjoy it.
So Sir is your actual first name?
Yes, Sir.
I like it, man.
It's weird. I kind of technically have two first names because it's Sir and then Robert. So, but yeah.
Nice, man, nice. I'm touring the UK right now. How's the tour been?
Great. It's been amazing. I'm very exhausted. I'm very tired because it's been like 3 months now. And I was touring, you know, the States where I'm from, and that was awesome. And now I'm over here, and I did a show in London, and then Birmingham, and then 2 in Manchester. Now we're back here, and then off to Paris and Amsterdam and Germany, and yeah. So
Non-stop,
man. It's crazy.
I was at the London show on Sunday, and definitely would say it's a flawless live performance, man. Wow. The whole entire set was incredible.
Thanks a lot, man. You saw it?
I did, yeah. I was there, man. I was there watching every moment. London, they knew every single word. From the moment that Rhetoric pushed play and you came out, they were on it.
It was awesome.
Did you expect that from London?
I did, because I know that, you know, I haven't performed here very much. I've only performed once before, and so and you know, always on Twitter, it's always, when are you coming? When are you coming? When are you coming? So I knew that it was gonna be great. But it still always is such a surprise, especially when you travel to another country, you know. And the thing that always like fucks me up is the accents. Just because like that's how you know you really are somewhere else, when you have these wicked accents, you know, and it's like, yo, this is really another part of the world, the earth. Yeah. And they know my music. It's
I heard you were talking about that, of course, on stage as well.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
You did a freestyle. I think it was a freestyle.
Yeah,
on the Tribe Called Quest instrumental during the show.
Yeah. So I'll go in and like it's funny. Sometimes I always freestyle. And then I'll usually go into a bit of like a written or maybe a throwback, a verse or something like that. But I always start it with a freestyle, just for fun. Yeah.
So when we're talking about freestyles, are we talking like straight off the top of your head freestyle?
Yes.
Because these days, a lot of artists put a freestyle out that they've written.
Yes.
It's not really even a freestyle.
That's not.
You do it off the top, right?
I do it off the top. But like, I don't know. It's weird. Some people will. If somebody asks me to freestyle, I will freestyle off the top. But if somebody brings me to like, you know, if I go to a radio station, you know, I just did, like today I was with Westwood or with Charlie Sloth or whoever, like, you know, and I'll just kind of go in and they're like, just rap. And I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. So then I might go off the top a little bit. Yeah. I might go, you know, writtens mixed in and just all this just for a fun performance. But if somebody's like, yo, we're going to freestyle, then I'll just go off the top of my head just for fun. And, you know, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. It's just random thought, and it's just fun. I think that's what a lot of people are scared of nowadays. It's like when they do freestyles, the reason it's written a majority of the time is because things aren't like they were back in the 90s where, you know, you're just in the park or you're at the radio station that one night, that one late night where everybody was there. And if you were there or you were listening that night, you heard it and it was fun. Now it's like, it has to be perfect because it's going to be on the internet for millions of people to see. But me, I don't give a shit. I always tell them, I kind of put it out there like, here's the warning, like, yo, I'm just having a good time. Who knows what's going to happen? And then I just rap. Yeah,
so I heard that you freestyled on some Grime today.
Oh yeah, I did. How did you hear about that?
I know about these things, man. I know everything.
That's funny. Yeah, I did. It was weird. It was different in a good way though. It was really cool, and it was dope. I did some like crazy flows I never did before, and I kind of tripped up a little bit because the kicks and everything's so different. But it was fun. It was dope.
I'm looking forward to hearing it, man. Most definitely. Also in your live set, you threw down, which I was surprised about, like some dance and some EDM music.
Yes.
In the middle of the set.
Totally.
And it really went off.
Oh man.
As well. I didn't expect that from that kind of crowd, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because it is a hip hop crowd, but my crowd, like the Logic crowd, is a bit different. It's just different. It's just something about just my fans, you know, because like you could have kids who are 11, 12 years old showing up, and then you got parents there, and then you got people in their 40s by themselves there, and teenagers, and just all these different people and age groups and races and religions just coming together and having a good time. So I think a big thing for me is letting people know that I love all music. I'm a lover of all music. So, even fun dance music is in there as well. But the crazy thing is my lighting guy, his name is Boone. He's not here on Europe because, like, my light show is crazy in the States, but now we're doing clubs, so it's a little smaller, so it kind of wouldn't really make sense to bring it over. But you should see that set with the lights that I have. Yeah. It's actually kind of screwed up because this one kid had a seizure. In the United States, because the light. But he's okay. He was cool. Yeah. I made sure he was good. He was fine afterwards. Everything was okay. But that's how crazy my light show is.
I hope you got at least a signed copy of the album or something.
It's I went to visit him in the hospital afterwards to make sure he was cool. So
it was worth it for him then.
I guess so. I guess so.
So you got into rap by watching Kill Bill, I've heard.
Yes.
Because of RZA.
The RZA, yeah. It's really funny. I've been thinking about this more and more and more, like what actually got me into hip hop. And forever I was always like, it was, and I've never really said this before, but I was always like, Kill Bill, because the RZA did the score. Yeah. And then, through finding the RZA, I found Wu-Tang Clan, and then I found hip hop. But I think the real source of my just love of the arts and entertainment and all this really stems from my love of like anime, like Japanese animation.
Right, okay.
Because it was when I was like 10 or 11 and I discovered anime that I would draw and I would write stories, and that's what really got me interested to kind of want to explore. And then through my love of anime, then I loved Kung Fu, and then through Kung Fu and that I found Kill Bill, and then I found, so when you really trace it back, it kind of stems from anime, which is crazy. Yeah.
That's a good story, man. Yeah. What part does Frank Sinatra play in influencing you? Because I've noticed, obviously, you've clearly got the Young Sinatra mixtapes. Yes. You got the Rat Pack crew and the merchandise as well. So what part does Frank Sinatra play?
It's funny, not that he plays, not even the whole theme, not that it plays any less than it used to, but with the mixtapes being named Young Sinatra in that series, it was a lot more prominent during the mixtapes, and I think now I've grown more into just Logic, right? And the Young Sinatra is definitely an alter ego, and the Rat Pack is what's really stamped. But I think Sinatra, just growing up as a kid and hearing his music in the household, it's just it's just the debonair and the swagger to him, and just the reverence. Like when he walked into a room, like it stopped and people were like, "Oh shit, that's like Sinatra." Like, yeah. I kind of I crave that. That's something that I want from people, from this industry, from all that. When they think of Logic, when they think about me, it's just and that's just something I want to bring to hip hop and to music in general.
It feels like it's coming, man. It feels like it's moving that way.
It's working, yeah.
The album, I loved it, bro. Like, thanks. Really, really good. So Talia tells us that a lot of the album was recorded in hotel rooms on tour.
Yes. That was crazy, actually, to think about. Somebody asked me, kind of like how this tour was as opposed to my others. And this is the easiest tour that I've ever had to do, and yet it is at the same time the most grueling. Because especially when I was in the States, I do, the meet and greet VIP packages that you can upgrade, and that's 100 people a day that I meet. So I meet 100 people a day, and then I sound check, and I do all these different things, and then I perform, which is crazy. But at the same time, everybody is so on it, like on my team. They're doing such a good job. Now with this tour in specific, I haven't been recording as much, or even nearly as much as I was on my previous tours before my album came out, because I was working on the album all the time. So I think the reason why this tour is so much more easier is because I have more time to sleep and rest, and just kind of relax, because there's no crunch, there's no time crunch to get things done. But yeah, I mean, in the back of the tour bus, in hotel rooms, in the venues, backstage, I would just set up anywhere I could to produce and whatever I could do. Yeah.
So is it just a laptop, mic, keyboard, boom?
Yeah, it's super simple. Actually, so these are condenser mics, but I use a compressor mic called an SM7, and it's made by Shure, which is really dope, and it's about $300. And then when I was in the studio recording, I used a 251 microphone, and the 251 was the same microphone that Frank Sinatra recorded on, which is crazy. But the funny thing is the SM7 that I use, even currently, only costs $300.
Right.
And the 251 that I would use, provided by the studio, was $15,000.
Right.
And on the album, I use both mics, but you can't really tell.
No.
And that's because my engineer, he's just so great at mixing and everything like that. So now wherever I go, I just have my SM7 because it's very simple and I love it. And yeah, I just set it up. I have my SM7, I have my compressor and my EQ, my equalizer. I have my laptop and I have my Apollo. It's like an interface that I plug it in. That's all I need to create an album. Yeah.
Nice. What's your favorite track from the album?
Oh man, I think it always changes, depending on my mood. But I'd say probably Metropolis. I love the song Metropolis. It was originally going to be called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And it's that song, it's just basically me kind of talking about my experiences traveling because of music. And I talk about Europe, and I talk about Belgium and Amsterdam and, all these different great places that I've been able to visit because of music, which is really amazing. And I just love it, and it's very fun, and yeah, so Metropolis.
Excellent. In Soul Food, you mentioned it's crazy how your idols can turn into your brethren.
Yes.
Who are you referring to?
I think there's a lot of different people that I'm talking about. Definitely, No I.D was one of those people that I was thinking about. Even somebody like J. Cole, because I used to idolize J. Cole when I was first coming up years ago, 2010-ish, 2009, 2010. And not that I still revere him, I respect him, he's incredible. But then you meet him, and then you realize he's just a regular guy. He's really cool. And then it's like it's just that, it's like, don't get me wrong, still competition in a good way, still there's that. But it's like, wow, this is just a nice guy. It's and when you being able to shoot him a text, like I remember I saw him perform at the Fillmore, and it was the second show I've ever been to. It's the second. There's only two shows I saw live: Lupe Fiasco and J. Cole in 2010, and or 2011. I went to go see him, and then 2 years later, I sold out that same venue, and he sold it out on his debut album, and I sold it out before I even had an album out.
Off mixtapes,
and so it was like 2,000 plus people, and I remember texting him, after we had met and exchanged information. And that was kind of like the day where I was like, wow, this is like I'm texting this person that I used to idolize, and I'm showing him, the same venue that he once sold out that I did. And it was crazy. So I guess, people like that are who I'm talking about. Yeah,
that's dope, man. There's a lot of honesty in your music. I mean, I've heard you've talked about being kicked out of school. You talk about the fact that your brother sold crack to your dad.
Yeah, crazy.
You talk about your mum being stabbed.
Yep.
A lot of serious things. So you must be really comfortable with allowing your fans and complete strangers to just know everything about you.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have any secrets. I think the only thing I keep to myself is my relationship with my fiance. I don't mind obviously talking about her, things like that, but to an extent, because that's my escape. That's my getaway, Yeah. But besides that, I feel like the perfect artist is gonna give his or her everything on the record. I looked up to people like Nas and Eminem and Jay and Kanye and all these people growing up. Many of those guys collectively were like a father that I never had, that were never there, because they were so honest on the record. And I think that has paid off, because I've gone to a lot of shows and met a lot of fans, even on the street, and they tell me how much those lyrics meant to them and mean to them, and how much it helped them get through things that I'm like, whoa, that's why I did it, and I'm so glad. So yeah, I'm pretty open guy. I don't mind, I don't mind.
It's so relatable as well to a lot of people, man, because in this day and age of hip hop, where there's so many guns and drugs and money and diamonds, especially in the UK, majority of people don't have guns. They shouldn't have guns anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's not relatable, but your hip hop, it is to people. They have these certain situations here. Do you know what I mean? As such a lyrical guy and you're what I would consider, I have two brackets of hip hop, right? Okay. So there's real hip hop, and then there's hip hop club stuff. There. Yeah. But as a real hip hop artist, how do you feel with tracks? Just for example, we're going to use Coco as the example here.
Yeah.
Such a big club tune globally.
Yeah.
But then ask some of these people in the club about a Logic record, they won't know it. How does that feel to you, knowing that you put so much work and so much more of yourself into the music but don't get the recognition globally.
This is how I think. I think when you look at artists like that, or even like Ray Shremmer, like No Type, and like these awesome, those are fun songs. You go to the club, you don't want to hear like, yeah, my girl, something. Like you want to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's incredible. But speaking aside from that, no artist in general, I'm not talking about anybody. When you have like one song, one record, and that's it. Like I don't ever want to be that person. That's not about them. They're dope. They're doing their thing. I'm talking about in the grand scheme of things. I want to create an album as a whole. And I look at it as like, I'm young, I'm 25, I released a successful album, I'm very blessed, and I could have a hit. That could happen at any moment. I could have a hit tomorrow, I could have a hit a year from now. It could be this, it could be that. The hit, but I'm looking at it like this. A lot of people with a hit or that one song can't sell records like I can sell records. You know what I mean? So it's like, you might go to the club and somebody doesn't know my name, but you can, you know, when I can walk down the street in Manchester randomly just chilling, and some guy's like, Logic? And I'm like, oh shit. That's that to me, it's like really insane, and it's who will stand the test of time. The person
longevity.
Exactly, with the one song, or the person with the project as a whole. Yeah, so shit, who knows? I might have that one hit, and that opens the doors to a whole bunch of hits, because the sound is changing in my favor. So you never know, but yeah, who gives a shit? As long as I'm touring the world and I'm happy and I'm getting this money, I'm good.
Exactly, that was a great answer, man. I like the way you tackled that. So, the last one, Under Pressure, the track.
Oh yeah.
My favorite track from the album, I have to say. I saw the video as well.
Oh yeah, the first half of it, yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh, man, the video was sick.
It's fun, yeah.
So whose concept was that? Whose idea was it?
That was mine. I wrote that. It was actually inspired by
Call of Duty.
Well, yeah, a bit, but this band, I think they're called, I forget what they're called. I forget, but the song is called Bad Motherfucker. And they did a similar style kind of thing. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. They're from Russia, so they're Russian. And I was like, how cool would this kind of be to implement but do my version of this and write it myself, the entire treatment, and kind of come up with this idea. And so it was directed by myself and this guy named Stephen Wayne Millette. And he's just awesome guy. And it was done by Green Glow Productions. And it was just so much fun to kind of write this and see it come together and get stuntmen and get all these people involved in this really awesome project. But yeah, that actual song, that song is the song that really, I created that, and it let me know, like, this is the logic that I want everybody to know. And based on that, and being like rapping from other people's perspectives and being very concise and what I was saying and how I was kind of telling a story. Once I created that song, I knew that's what I wanted to do, on the rest of the album. And then when I was trying to come up with a title, oh man, I can't even remember any of the titles I was thinking of. I was kind of lost with titles for the album. And I didn't know, and then I just kept thinking about that one song and how that really just defined just everything in my life at that time and just where I was going as an artist and everything. So I just looked at it, I was like, Under Pressure, that's it. Yeah.
I loved in the video how you had a lot of little subliminals as well. The album release date on the bomb timer, Nicki's name badge, the Phase sweatshirt. Totally. I saw these things, man. I liked it. So finally, I think I said that for the last question, but I do want to know the answer to this one before we wrap up. Talia says you've got over 1,700 records recorded.
Crazy.
But only 150 are out there in the public.
Yes.
Why?
I think there's a lot of Monet and Picasso and Leonardo da Vinci inventions and things that we never saw, that never saw the light of day. And I think the reason that is because that was them discovering and finding themselves as artists and inventors, and all those songs. It's not that I'm not proud of them. It's just some of those songs were from when I was 15 years old. Right. And I sound like a chipmunk, and I'm all young, and it's like I might not necessarily want people to hear that because very similar to my fiance. That's something for me. That was the things that I was going through. And who knows? Maybe if we're hanging out sometime, I might let you listen to them. No, but definitely. If that's how. No, I would. But it's not something that I would release because it's not a final project or product that I'm happy with. That's why the over the 150 songs that I had given you for free before the album's release. So that means probably almost 170 roughly, I think, with the collaborations and things that I've dropped. You know, those are the ones that I was happy with, that I sat down and I went, yes, this is what I want the world to hear. And yeah, that's kind of that. That's that.
Got you. It's DJ DUBL here today with Logic, one of the dopest guys out right now.
Yeah.
Under Pressure, the album is out there now. Go and buy it, man. Support the music.
Swag.
We're out of here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
that, bro.
Yo,
Thank you, man.
Great interview.
Excellent. I'm glad. Thank you.
Yo, that was my favorite interview.